And now, the SleepHawk Worldwide podcast. Here are your hosts, Brandon Staten and Tyler Hansbrough.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SleepHawk Worldwide podcast. This is Sleep Dog with the Big Hulk.
What's up, everybody? It is the Big Hulk with Sleep Dog. Excited about this podcast. A lot of action nearing the NBA season, so I'm excited to get in here with the sleep.
A lot of action in some ways, some inaction in other ways. All of it's interesting. Inactive with the Tar Heels this week. Despite that, climbed a spot in the ranks, but also got jumped by a team that was behind us that was also inactive in Washington State. We'll get into that. And the road ahead for the Tar Heels. We will talk about some NFL stories because that's damn near about everything that was going on today. Buffalo crushing Miami. We got the Bears-Broncos was interesting. We got the Commanders game was good. Just got done watching the Patriots get throttled. Brock Purdy looks like, he might be Joe Montana, Tom Brady all wrapped into one. Talk about Duke lost to Notre Dame. That was a pretty good game. It ended up, but watching it until it got good was tough. Riley Leonard, their quarterback, got hurt, and turns out he's got I think it's less serious than it looked like it might be at the time, which even though it's Duke, is definitely good news to hear. State loses Louisville. We'll touch on that. And then the NBA, dude, just going haywire. Camp starts Tuesday. Dame's moving. Drew Holiday's moving. Hell, JK might be moving up the chart if you're a longtime listener. I'll talk about that for sure. Anyway, first thing we're going to do, though, something we did last week. We're going to start out with T-shirt shout-outs, dude. Big Hawk, last episode we were telling you, buy a T-shirt. Now we really mean it because you might not get a chance to if you don't hurry up.
Exclusive release. Hey, thanks, guys, man. We want to sell more T-shirts, and we want to, really evolve. We got these shirts right now, but there's a lot of things we can do. We appreciate everybody buying these shirts.
Have you ever had a Gucci or like a designer T-shirt, Tyler?
Absolutely.
And don't hold a damn candle to these things.
Nope,
honestly,
not.
I'm surprised that Gucci or somebody hadn't called us for a collab. SHWW collab, man. Nike Off-White SleepHawks. Our boy Gus Fraley. He's so right now he's leader in the clubhouse. Gus bought 3 T-shirts.
God bless you, Gus.
Gus, you're one of a kind, buddy. This is like. You're like manna from heaven. Vaughn Moore, second. He's coming. He's right on your heels, Gus. He bought 2 T-shirts. Kevin Lapp, Wes from Oak City Sports Cards. Big Gene. He's also a close leader in the clubhouse. Tyler's dad bought 2. Which, hey, Mr. Hansbrough, if you're listening, you know why I appreciate your purchase so much? Because I have married into a rather large family as well as been born into one. And none of them will buy a T-shirt. And you know what? They're all getting a damn T-shirt for Christmas. So, we're going to find out how many of them listen because they're going to know what their Christmas present is. Nick Byrne, shout out. Also a T-shirt owner. Clark Jenkins and our boy Jerry. Jerry's in my wedding. Jerry will fix your car if you ever got anything wrong with it. Might not fix it good, but he'll try. Anyway, man, thanks everybody, all seriousness, for support. You want a T-shirt, go to our website, go on our Instagram page, pretty easy to do, and we'll ship it when we ship it. All those people I just mentioned, them things going out first thing Monday morning, which is today. As you're listening, they're going to get injected in USPS, and they'll be there before you know it. So anyway, let's start, rather than getting into NFL, so we could touch quickly on some college football. So Heels didn't play. Bye week. Came into it 15. I think LSU lost. Somebody else who escapes me right off the top of my head lost. That theoretically, 2 teams ahead of us. Theoretically, you would have thought that would move us up 2 spots. Washington State, who's getting some momentum, from everything I hear, pretty good team. They beat Oregon State, was their last win, who is a top 20 team. They jumped us, so we're 14 now going into to next week, right, again, we keep talking about it, man, right where we need to be. I think in the context of Carolina, Duke losing to Notre Dame, on one hand, Notre Dame was ranked ahead of us, so Duke had won. I think it might have helped, but then Duke would have volleyed us. The rankings, again, are a conversation piece. We need to be there in the end if we really want to have a shot here. But anyway, it sets up well. We got Syracuse at home this week, and before a big game against Miami. So assuming, right, we focus and take care of business against Syracuse, That Miami game's setting up to be maybe one of the biggest games in the history of Carolina football. Like, maybe not the biggest, but it'll be up there.
Absolutely. And the reason they got to stay focused for this week is it's so easy to look ahead. It's especially, this team has kind of, gone under the radar, hasn't got a lot of hype. And, they've had a pretty good year so far. They've won every game, undefeated, starting to get a little attention. And in 2 games, you have an enormous powerhouse Miami coming in. It's a chance to put us on the scene, get a big dub. But you got to take care of Syracuse. I mean, Syracuse, it's a boring. I mean, we got to play Syracuse. I mean, that doesn't wake me up, Sleep. And, even
mascot's a fruit. Literally mascot. I mean, imagine you go to school and you go to you're a Chattanooga cherry, Imagine you're a Baton Rouge banana. All right. I mean, I don't get it. But hey, listen, man, there's something to it. Look, I'm trying to put you down. We got a lot of people probably like, well, y'all got to, livestock. All right, fine. But yeah.
I like red meat, Sleep. I can't eat too much because it makes me violent.
Red meat, huh? Where'd that come from? Where the fuck you talking about red meat, dude? Like, we're just talking about cherries and oranges and bananas and stuff. And those just see like red meat. I'm like, all right, dude.
I do like red meat, though.
Me too. I mean, shit. I just got some from the store. Hey, by the way. So, guys, this is good. This episode's already going to go haywire because I got like some other stuff too to talk about. It ain't completely related to sports. So we're just going to take this sumbitch off on a tangent. Tar Heels 14th. Got Syracuse. Have you ever Instacarted? Have you ever ordered groceries and had them delivered?
Absolutely.
This is the first time I've ever done this.
So
I didn't either.
COVID.
First time I've ever done this. And speaking of that, today, it's nerve-wracking, man. Like, the convenience factor is supposed to be such that, I mean, maybe I'm too particular. And by the way, like, the kid that showed up was as nice as he could be, man. But, you buy stuff from the grocery store and you're really like loyal to the things you buy. I was like, hey, I'm sitting there on my couch watching football. I'm like, I don't know what overcame me, but I just didn't want to go to the grocery store. And so I ordered like taco seasoning, right? And I like McCormick hot taco seasoning. Shit's like $2, like $1, a little dusty pack. And, you sprinkle a little water in there. It's like space food, dude. Or like, stuff they used to give soldiers where, you mix it together and bam, you got good ass tacos, right? Well, like all of a sudden I get this notification. It's like, nah, you ain't getting that when you're getting El Paso. And I'm like, I've had El Paso, man. I don't really like it. And it's not only is it El Paso, but it's like not hot El Paso. So, and the McCormicks were $5 for whatever, and El Pasos weren't. So when they switched it, not only did I not get the one I wanted, but I got 5 packs of taco seasoning I wouldn't have gotten. I would have just got one if they didn't roll me in with a sale. Got 5 packs of taco seasoning and some shit I don't even want. So I hope it's good. And then, so they kept like substituting stuff. And then the one thing they didn't substitute was a bag of tortilla chips. Like, so it canceled that one. I'm like, dude, just, use your judgment. Get whatever bag of tortilla chips, bro. And I found at the end of it, I was like, hell, I would have called this kid and just be like, hold on, man, I'll meet you up there. We'll go shopping together, right? Until they show up. And when they show up, you're just like, hell, man, I appreciate you, dude. I don't really care what you got me. Now I got something to eat. But Mary, my wife, she's been gone all week long. And she did stop by the other day and looked in the refrigerator and was like, dude, what have you been eating? And I was like, pizza,
Pizza every day.
So 2 Red Barons, also part of the order. But yeah, anyway, sorry. I don't even know how I got on that tangent.
Sleep. You know what, man? I
ordered
love
some red meat,
man. You know what? I do not like going to the grocery store.
Shit's expensive.
Sometimes, man, it's just a convenience factor. Like, you got a lot going on. You just don't want to waste time going to the store. And, for whatever reason is, you can get a little comfortable just throw it in the bag, throw it in the bag, throw it in the bag. Because sometimes when you go to the store, you'll be looking around for about 20 minutes for one item. And eventually you'll just be like, you know what, I don't need it. It's not that important. I'm going to save my sanity. But with this thing, sometimes in Walmart, they have their own little app. I shop Walmart, big Walmart guy.
Hey, man, I got everything you need. Look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's $10 to deliver. Then you got to tip the guy, right? So I paid an extra probably $20 just to get my shit to me.
No, I go and pick it up.
Oh, well, I got to deliver it. But here's the deal. I spent half of what I usually spend in the grocery store by the time I was done for multiple reasons. One, because I'm the worst, like impulsive at anything. Doesn't matter if it's cheap, expensive, whatever. I'm about as impulsive as it gets. I'm walking down there. I'm like, damn, them cookies look good. All right, got them. These cookies kind of look good too. So I'm going to get these, just taste test. And I'll just go down there. Next thing you know, I got like shallots or something, some shit that I'm going to use like one time maybe, right? And so I was in much more control of what I ordered. But then you've got this balance of like, hey, I don't want to pay $20, to make a ham sandwich. You know what I mean? So like you gotta get enough. And so ultimately, this is what carried me there is I got some red meat because I was like, well, let me plan a couple meals out here. Hence the 18 bags of taco seasoning that I didn't want. But I got some ground beef. And then I got, the tortilla chips I didn't end up getting. So then I was this is a mixed review here because, I'm going to have tacos. But I don't, right this second I realized I didn't put no salsa in there, dude. So I'm going to have to go to the store anyway, is what it sounds like. You get tortilla chips and probably the own seasoning that I want. And anyway, so the dude showed up, I'll be honest. I was like, hey, I got more here now than I had before. Lots to drink. I'm bad about going to the grocery store and buying about 700 things to drink. And then getting out of there and realizing, like, dude, I got 2 different flavors of Gatorade. I got, LaCroix and some, I don't do sodas anymore. But yeah, anyway.
You're a big Topo Chico guy.
Big Topo Chico guy, but I had to slow down on those seltzer, those carbonated waters, man.
Why?
They give me acid reflux, man. I'm pretty sure they like burning a hole in my esophagus because there's something about a Topo Chico. You like Topo Chicos?
I do, but I drink the Perrier's.
Okay, but here's the thing about a Topo Chico. I don't know what they're doing in that stuff, but if you leave a Topo Chico if you leave a carbonated water on your nightstand, and you like wake up at night and you like try to take a sip of it, it is like, I don't understand what carbonated water is once it gets flat because you would assume that it just tastes like regular water, right? One of the biggest mysteries of modern universe is like, how come when carbonated water gets flat, does it not just taste like something about, I don't know if it's psychological or what, but a Topo Chico will stay carbonated for 3 days. And you can pick that sumbitch up off your nightstand, and if you're expecting it to be flat, it'll get you. And I'm telling you, man, it ain't just like a little carbonated either. It's fresh out the fridge carbonated. But I had to slow down because those things are like addicting, man. They're so good and like refreshing, and I'd be hammering those things down. And next thing you know, you got like a little like bad bubble up under there, like just waiting.
Dude,
roaring like a dinosaur.
I feel you on that. These things are addicting, but I would tell you sleep. You don't go to Perrier, you better drink that thing within 3 hours because it will go flat. Okay, this ain't no Topo Chico.
It'll go flatter than King Tut.
I'm going to have to start switching over to Topo Chico, man.
I'm telling you, man, during COVID, they were hard to find. They're in the glass bottles, too, man. Don't get the plastic bottles. I think the plastic bottles go flat. I don't know what it is about the glass. I'm telling you, man.
Bottles. I'm getting the cans or the glass.
Them glass ones, dude. Little 12er.
Mm-hmm.
Cold. Kind of mess up your fridge chi, though, because like they're like kind of tall, kind of not, all a little in the way. You go to Costco and get them now. Then those things are like oversized, so they're like too big. But it stays carbonated, dude.
Sleep. The thing I have for you. So do you drink the whole can or whatever, the whole bottle? Or do you drink like 3/4 of it and just leave it there and then you realize the next day I didn't drink it all?
Man, I'm a 3/4 guy of a lot of
every time.
Yeah. God, I'm bad about it, man. The best invention ever, and I don't know why they haven't made these inventions. Literally, look, SleepHawk Nation, man. Say what you want about what I'm about to say. I realize this might rank right up there with the Giuliani comment from last week. They should make beers in those little cans, because I can slug that little 8-ouncer. That's me right there. I drink 14 of those.
Oh, yeah.
but I can't drink one in 12 ounce. And don't matter what it is. I guess I just don't drink it fast enough for it to be as satisfying in that last sort of quarter to a third as it was for the first. It's a soda. Like I like soda, but like once you realize that a soda is basically like, guys, you might as well, sprinkle a little fentanyl in there. Man, that shit ain't good for you. Okay. You got to give up the sodas if you're on those things. I love them. They're delicious. I treat them like hot dogs. You know what I mean? Everybody loves hot dog, especially Big Hawk. But, you start slugging too many of them some bitches back, and they're going to start taking off the back end of your days. You know what I mean? And I feel like, man, soda might be the same thing. So anyway, I try to scale it back. And that's, I think, where like the carbonated stuff comes from, like LaCroix and all that. But yeah, God bless. We've taken this one off.
Sleep. I don't drink sodas, period. I think sodas are, they say it's up there with smoking cigarettes. But I know a lot of people, everyone falls for the diet. The diet for soda.
Big roll, man. My dad, he'll drink a diet soda all day long, man. I'm like, buddy.
He used to just
I don't know what they made that sugar out of, but it's worse than regular sugar. Hey, man, Warren Buffett drinks like a cherry Coke every single day. Legend has it.
I wouldn't put him as like a picture of, he's been very successful, but I'm not wouldn't say he's a picture definition of health. It don't look like he's running a marathon ball.
Guys, I also got long, what is it called? Post-viral cough. I figure out what it is. So I've been, Matthew does a good job filtering me out when I'm literally hacking up a lung. I went to the doctor the other day and I was like, tell me what it is, doc, like hit me straight with it. Is it bad? How much time do I have left? And he's like, buddy, you just got a cough, man. Like, I was like, well, I've had this cough I said, this is the funny thing. I'm sitting there. This is a HIPAA violation. I'm sitting there. I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, dude, listen, man, I've had this cough for 8 weeks. Right? He's like, 8 weeks, you all right? Listen to my lungs and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, I got pneumonia, like bronchitis, something worse. And he's like listening around and he's asking me all these questions. And I'm like, nah, dude, I don't, no chills, no fever, no this, no that. And he's like, you sure you had this thing 8 months? So I texted Mary. I was like, hey, dude, when we went to my sister's engagement party, that's when I got sick the first time. And it's been a problem since. She's like, we went there like the 26th of last month. So it wasn't really 8 weeks. It was more like 4. And then once I told him that, he was like, yeah, you have post-viral cough. I was like, well, dude, what is that? And he's like, well, basically it just means that you had a virus and now you have a cough. And I was like, okay, well, that's not exactly, this is Johns Hopkins here or what? Like, tell me, like, what can we do about this? He said, well, look, good news is like, it's not serious. Bad news is ain't anything you can do about it. And I was like, so I've literally been just miserable for the last month. If anybody's ever been through post-viral cough, man, I feel for you.
Haven't done that one yet,
dude. It is it's like more annoying than anything I've ever had. So anyway, like most people probably think about this episode right now about the most annoying thing. Like come here for sports and they get fucking red meat and coughing spells.
I'm good.
What are we doing next? Football. All right, so we got Syracuse. We already talked about it. Did you watch any of Notre Dame?
No, I watched a little bit, but I went right to sleep.
It got boring, dude. The game was like slow, and it was like all hyped up, and then they kept playing damn Carolina in my mind. And it's like whoever works at ESPN either went to Carolina and was just like a big shove it up their ass over there, or they're just completely in the dark because they played it like 3 times, and it's like, bro, don't you realize that James Taylor is like synonymous with Duke's largest rival? And you like just like there is nothing less North Carolina than Duke. Like, I mean, I get that they're here, but they're not really symbolic of the great state. Anyway, so Duke comes back. I fell asleep too, of course, before Duke makes a comeback and takes the lead 14-13. Apparently, Notre Dame just marches down the field, scores a touchdown. Thank God, or touchdown Jesus in this case, that happened. So they pulled it out. Notre Dame, everybody's a Notre Dame fan that day. But I have to admit, as I'm watching that game, I was like, I'm going to have to say this on the podcast to maintain what little credibility I have. I think Duke really is a fucking good football team. And that's a really sad thing for me to have to say. They damn sure don't have much, they didn't score, I don't think, the whole first half. But I couldn't figure – I tried to keep telling myself that they both suck. But I don't think that's it. I think Duke's legitimately a good team.
I'm not buying Notre Dame this year. I saw them play Ohio State. That – I don't know. I mean, it just – Notre Dame to me isn't, Notre Dame what it used to be. And I don't really think it's all that appealing. But I get they're still a powerhouse, and it's tough to view Duke as a good football school. But I don't care. I mean, the rivalry to me is that no matter how good Duke is or how good UNC is, it's going to be a close game. And I always get a little bit nervous about those games because emotions are high, and we could have a really good year, and Duke could, obviously suck and still beat us. But that's just that's how I view that. I just look as Duke. I view Duke as a potential threat, no matter if they're one of the worst teams in football or one of the best, obviously.
All I got out of watching that game is they kept showing Sam Hartman, and I'm like, dude, this dude looks like he sings for like a Doobie Brothers cover band or something. Like he plays for Alabama, the band. His look is just quintessential 80s. I mean, he looks like my dad did when I was born. And I'm like, dude, how are you, what is going on? When you, get a haircut or something, you're just like, bro, yeah, just give me the same cut from beard to head and everything. Like, he looks like he's about 45. I think he is about 45. But yeah, Riley Leonard, their quarterback, looked good. He got hurt late, but I read right before we came on here, I think it's just a high ankle sprain, and that's good, man. Obviously, there's a rivalry there. You hate Duke and all that sort of stuff, but he seems to be a pretty good player, and you don't want to wish it on anybody. And you damn sure want them 100% when they come get that ass beat here in a few weeks in Chapel Hill.
No excuses.
Pacheco just went to the house.
Those high ankle sprains, they'll sleep. They can linger for about 8 to 12 weeks.
They're tough.
I mean, some people say a break is actually better than a high. Yeah.
I had a high ankle sprain back in my day of the Croatan Cougars. I had a high ankle sprain, and it was, dude, I think it was a freshman or sophomore in high school. It was awful, dude. Yeah. I never broke a bone in my body, but I never had anything that I could ever imagine hurting worse than that, and for as long as it did. Also, State lost to Louisville. Not really that surprising, but what did surprise me about that game is I didn't realize how good Louisville was. I mean, Louisville's the top team in the ACC. Thank God we don't play them this year. Might have to in the ACC championship game, but they're still undefeated. So, I mean, here we are. We're right where we thought we'd be, but the conference is just shaking out a lot differently than we thought. In the beginning, we were thinking, Miami, okay, not that big of a deal, pretty big damn deal. We were thinking Clemson was going to be Clemson is obviously going to be a tough game, but we're thinking NC State was going to be a tough game. Doesn't really look like it. Now it's Duke and, all this other stuff. So, ACC's got 5 teams in the top 25, I think, right now. So, with Louisville just got in. So, anyway, got to do what we got to do against Syracuse. And then, if we do, sets up for a big one the following week. But in the NFL, there's all kinds of stuff going on. We'll touch on it, 5 or 10 minutes here. But biggest things to me, Buffalo smoked Miami. Right after Miami, Miami was about to be, they just might as well have handed them the Super Bowl, the Lombardi trophy. And then they just turned right around and gave up 48 to Buffalo. Did not look good doing it. Achane, my man, Mostert's, this dude just comes out of nowhere. Guy I'm playing, picks him up off the waiver wire. He goes nuts. And then I got Mostert, who is now an afterthought. So, I mean, guy's just killing my vibe on the fantasy team.
I got him on my fantasy too.
Justin Fields comes out of the wood. Dude literally goes 23 of 24, 4 touchdowns. Looks like Joe Montana. And his only incompletion was a Hail Mary at the end of the first half for 23 for 24 passes. I turned that sumbitch off, and they're up 28-7 almost at the start of the fourth quarter. And they lost. It's dangerous. I mean, that's nauseating. I don't know if it was Fields' fault, but from what I understand, they didn't do too hot in the second half. So that one was wild.
Do you expect them to make a quarterback change?
Nah, not yet.
Do you think they'll stick with Fields all year?
I mean, unless look, a guy that plays like he did today, he definitely bought himself another couple games. There's no way. I mean, unless the wheels just really fall off. Like you look at what happened. I don't know if you saw where Dallas is playing New England. And, I mean, Mac Jones was so bad, there's just no ignoring it. I mean, they yanked him, finally put Zappy back in, and they had just cut Zappy.
Yeah.
So, it's just I think Fields is got too much upside for them. I don't necessarily know if Fields is that good. I don't watch him enough. I don't follow him enough. I just kind of hear what everybody else says. I just feel like Chicago doesn't have anything all that enticing around him. So,
well, they spent a high pick on him. They've got a lot invested in him. And so, to your point, I think they've got to stick with them because they have a lot to lose. You want those high picks to kind of pan out, but like you said, the kid Mac for the Patriots, Mac Jones, he doesn't have any arm strength, and so it's going to be interesting to see what the Patriots do with their QB. I mean, it's kind of been a little bit of controversy, and also to me, the Jets. How many issues can the Jets blame Zach Wilson for? I mean, they blame him for everything. The coach. I mean, to me, people are starting to criticize the coach for defending the quarterback.
Yep.
And what's a legendary quarterback?
Joe Namath.
Joe Namath came out. And
he was dragging him.
Just ripped him. And the knock on him, Sleep, is that he's had a lot of confidence issues, and I can tell you, athletes, when the media starts getting in them and everyone starts viewing this and hears this, everything's going to be blamed on Zach Wilson. I do not see that. I don't know. It may be a week or two. They're looking for anybody to replace him. And then people are going to start calling for the head coach if they don't.
It's funny. I watch him a little bit. I get the whole storyline last year where he was dramatically unlikable. I'm watching him here as we're recording this. They're down 10-0 to Kansas City. He's dropping back. Those a solid pass out of the flat 8 yards. Literally just happening right now. I don't feel like when I watch him, and granted I haven't watched a lot of him, but he's not one of those guys that just jumps off the page at me about as just terrible. Yeah. Right? But his confidence is shot. And that's gets loud in New York, right? So I don't. They say they're sticking with him and kind of good on the coach for that. But I was listening to McAfee. I like McAfee a lot. I listen to him all the time, and they're talking about kind of the problem is you get in the locker room. If those guys in the locker room don't feel the same way the coach does, it's cool the coach is standing up for him, but the coach is going to start losing credibility if the guys in the locker room aren't with it, right?
Absolutely.
And, everybody's all gung-ho because you got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, imagine being in this kid's position, dude. You kind of were bad off last year. You get Rodgers in there and you kind of got a second chance. Hey, man, I'm happy to back up Aaron Rodgers. Even if he's here 2 or 3 years, man, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to be his heir apparent. I'm going to learn from him. He seemed to be absorbing that in Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, the whole apple cart gets flipped over and all the players who thought they were going to earn all these bonuses, getting deep in the playoffs and winning Super Bowls and all this shit because Aaron Rodgers is there. Now they're not, right? So, I mean, I don't know. It just changes a lot of things. And, who knows, man? The Jets never really seem to have anything figured out. I mean, and that's coming from a Washington fan. So I know exactly what it's like to be in that camp. But, I'm with you, man. That one's a toss-up for me.
Yeah. The 49ers look good, though, Sleep. My guy, dude. Christian McCaffrey, got him on my fantasy team.
Got him, too. I'm still losing.
Man,
he put 4 TDs today.
What's funny is I'm losing 2, Sleep.
My guy went up against Achan. What's his face? Josh Allen. And the dude from the Rams that everybody just picked up, receiver from the Rams that everybody just picked. I mean, those 3 dudes have 100 points between them.
Yeah, well, Puka's production is going to drastically decline when my guy Cooper Kupp comes back. I think he's coming back next week. That's going to be a big time to take him.
I wish he'd have come back this week.
Yeah, I'd like to see my guy Jonathan Taylor get some action too. I don't know what's going on with him. He's on the PUP list. whatever the hell that means. But he's got 4 weeks, and he's Dunsky. He's Dunsky for the first 4 weeks. So hopefully that guy can get back because my fantasy squad desperately needs that guy to play and put up big-time points for me to salvage this year.
Getting about that time for me, man. I'm a sinking ship, and it's week 4. I'm in first place in 1, but I got smoked. I have this problem. I've got one league where my team is so deep. Like, I've got good players on the bench, and every time you pick one, it's the other guy on the bench. I have had Nico Collins. I've been playing I drafted Nico Collins, okay? Mm-hmm. So I saw this coming, and I sub him in, and Chris Olave has 1 catch for 9 yards. And Nico Collins has about 70 catches for 10,000 yards and 2 touchdowns. And 33, 40 points, whatever it was, just pop right there on the bench. If you play benches, you'd win every single week. That's a hard fantasy pill to swallow, especially when you have subscriptions to every fantasy guru and expert out there. Listen to these guys on ESPN, like start or sit, like. They should just say, I don't know, on all of them. I'm
sick of the kind of the dark web fantasy sites that claim that they've won all these DraftKings
Fantasy.biz.
And I'm sitting here buying, and they're telling me the core lineup for the week. And they're like, watch out for this guy, put him in. And they'll give you one guy that's going to put up a lot of points, but they'll give you 2 or 3 duds that just low down on about $3,500 and just get mollywopped. And I'm just sick of losing sleep, and I'm sick of it's a thing where you have to play so much on this DraftKings site. You have to play every single week, and if you win 1 week, you're boom, you've done it.
Broke even.
You broke even. Now it's starting to you play a little bit. Maybe now you can win a little bit, but. Yeah, I don't know what to do about these fantasy things. Sleep, it's starting to get irritating. I'm with you.
Shout out Prize Picks. I mean, I just did a little Sunday nighter, a little 4-spotter. It is weird with them. Like, you can't play the same. You can't play like 2 people in the same category or the same person for 2 things. But that one's fun because it's easy, and it's just like, you know what? This shit is just 50-50 as it gets, right? Yeah. Like, yes or no, over under. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty fond of that because. At least I just go into it knowing I'm going to lose because I'm unlucky, not because I, do or don't know any information that somebody else knows.
I like to line up like 7 picks and then all at once and try to go for the goal. And
oh, yeah, dude. I just tried to do that earlier, and I was like, I scaled it back because they told me I could. I mean, T Swift's in the house.
Yeah.
So I was taking Kelsey for the touchdown and Kelsey over 57.5 all day long.
I got Kelsey started.
Wouldn't let me take both of them. So I was like, well. I did take Pacheco. I think he just scored a pat. I'm like half watching this and half not. I hope that was a catch because if it was, that's one of my 4. So I think I need Mahomes to run for like 16, 17 yards. I need Kelsey to catch a touchdown.
That should be easy. She's in the building, Sleep.
I know, man. She's here again. It must be getting serious. Is that Pacheco again?
Hey, what do you think they do? Do you think they go out like they can't go to like Taylor Swift just can't go to a restaurant?
Yeah, I know it's fucking Applebee's or something. They probably ought to go somewhere like that. That's a great question. Where would you go if you're Taylor Swift? And you know what's crazy to me is all this stuff. Like, I've been introduced to a world that I never knew existed. Like, I knew that Taylor Swift was a big deal, but all these people keep talking about how like she's putting Travis Kelce on the map. I'm like, this dude's like one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Like, he's won the Super Bowl like multiple times. And there's a world that exists where this guy's a nobody, like that I'm unaware of. It's kind of weird, man.
Dude, it's insane.
I mean, she's a big deal. Don't get me wrong, but I watched her coming in. This is a true story. I'm watching the pregame. She's coming in through security, and of course, it is absurd to me that people care that much. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, all right, cool, whatever. But Jay-Z and Beyonce sit courtside all the time. I mean, I don't know. Like, who cares that she's there? That's pop culture, just phenomenon. She's walking through the security. Ryan Reynolds is with her. Like, I see the TV screen. I'm like, that's Ryan Reynolds. Like, also there. Nobody says a word about it. And I mean, like, dude, he's on there like, look who's here and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. And it ain't like, oh, maybe that was like they're standing next to each other. So first of all, I'm asking some TMZ questions. I guess he's married, I think. Maybe his wife was there too. But all I see is Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. And like nobody says, oh, and she's with Ryan Reynolds. Like nobody gives a shit about Ryan Reynolds, who's also very famous. I mean, the T Swift effect, and it was funny, man, because there was someone on Barstool. There was a chick outside the game with like this. It wasn't even a real it obviously wasn't a real Travis Kelce jersey. It was like some shit she made at home, and she spelled Kelsey like a girl, like SEY, and it was just comical because all these.
They raised the ticket price to Sleep because they knew Taylor Swift was going to be in the house.
Gosh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And are they playing at the Jets, I guess, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I'm a big T Swift fan, but I ain't going to the game because she's going to be there. Like, I mean, I ain't going to see her.
Guys, we got a buddy that is flying.
If I do, I'm probably getting arrested.
Yo, you know Big Dan's going to Germany.
Is he?
For a Taylor Swift concert.
Oh, God. Geez.
The artist behind our T-shirts.
1 second. Dude, you know my luck? Prize Picks. Guess who just scored a touchdown? Tight end, the other tight end, not Travis Kelce. All right, anyway, keep going.
Dude, Kelsey's going to get one, bro.
God,
don't worry about it. I got him on my fantasy squad, too.
This dude's lined up the block. Travis Kelce's wide open, and then so is this guy, and he scored.
Oh, dude, it's going to happen.
America. 17-0 Chiefs. Kelsey's going to, they're gonna put him on a bench to protect him.
Oh, God.
I do have Mahomes, too.
Dude, they're not. They're just gonna run through. I mean, they're off to
an unbelievable 500. Yeah. Big Dan T-shirt guy, T Swift, Germany.
Yeah,
I interrupted you.
His wife Katie is a huge T Swift fan. What are they called?
Swifties.
She's a
count
Swifties.
Myself among them to some degree.
And they're going to Germany to watch a concert. I just can't. You know, Big Dan's a big traveler, though. He wants to go to Germany.
Big Dan's a big traveler, but part of me thinks he might have something else lined up to, No,
it's just Taylor Swift, nothing else.
Unbelievable. Dan. God. You know who else hadn't bought a T-shirt? Dan. Dan don't even buy his own damn T-shirt from us. God bless, Dan. Come on, man. You know what he probably did? He probably made one extra.
I know he did. I got to.
I know I can talk shit about him because he's another one I know ain't listening. Anyway, so football is out. Oh, before we get out of here, though, dude, I thought Sam Howell, he might earn a statue today. I don't know if you saw that game.
No, I did. I watched it. I have Jalen.
But holy shit, man, what a drive.
Oh, dude.
And I think, it's crazy to me. I think it's the right call in a lot of ways that they didn't go for two. They were talking about that on the broadcast. Like, should they go for two? I'm like, dude, this isn't Acorn State playing Alabama, dude. This is like a division game. Like, you kind of need to try to win this and not, I get you're on the road. I get you're an underdog. I think Washington was like 9-point dog. But you got to go for the extra point, I feel like, and try to win in overtime. Then they got the ball, and that pass to McLaurin, I think he caught it. Not to say that would have really changed the outcome of the game, but anyway, dude.
Dude, they said on the broadcast, they said, listen, if they would have ruled it a catch, there wouldn't have been enough evidence under review to dispute it not being a catch. Whatever call they made, they were going to stick with it because the video didn't show, different than what they would call either way. But the one thing I do like about what Sam Howell did today is he had a bad game last game, and he bounced back and had a great game. And young quarterbacks can lose their confidence just like Zach Wilson's doing. Justin Fields could barely even toss it forward a few weeks ago. But Sam Howell came out. He's like, all right, I got this. Bounced right back, almost put Washington in position to beat the best team in football. Went to the Super Bowl last year. That was an impressive performance from our target.
Yeah, man. Look, as a Washington fan, I love to see it because, he might be the guy.
He's the future.
There. Yeah, that'd be great. All right, on to basketball. Let's get basketball. We'll get out of here. Big news NBA. All right, and I'm not going to start with the biggest news. I'm going to get to that before we leave here. But Dame to the Bucks. That's a big deal. Drew Holiday to Portland, then to the Celtics. So it's like a counterpunch. I mean, and then you're sitting here with like the 76ers in the East. Like now you got the Bucks who for, 4 days were like, yep, they're number one. They go immediately vault to the favorite, betting favorite to win the championship or the East. I can't remember. And then you send Drew Holiday to the Celtics, who remember also went out and got Kristaps Porzingis, right? Like they got a squad. And then, of course, the other backdrop is you got the 76ers that are stuck with James Harden, who called the owner a liar, and he's not going anywhere, or not moving anywhere fast, right? So, oh, man, I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts on all that, dude. I also, today, before I even turn that over to you, was listening again on McAfee, had some guy on there that said basically Portland just said, nah, we're not trading to Miami. Like that's the whispers coming out of it is that Portland really didn't try to move him to Miami at all, which I find very interesting.
Yeah. And it is interesting because Damian's been such a low guy, and I think he wanted to go to Miami. And we've seen other superstars come out, and they haven't been as nice to their program or hasn't been as loyal to Damon, and they got traded to the destination that they wanted to go. I was floored that he ended up in Milwaukee. I thought for sure the way the trend has been in the NBA is for guys to go to the destination that they want. I mean, how many times we saw Anthony Davis wanted to go to be a Laker, and we saw how that played out. But I think this is a big deal for the Bucks, and I can't agree. The reason I think this is such a big deal is I think Giannis was getting a little upset, a little antsy, and he wanted to have another superstar. He wanted to win another chip. And I respect the organization for going out and getting Giannis because Milwaukee's not the most sexy place to play. It gets cold. It's not a thriving metropolis. It's Milwaukee. Not many people vacation there. And so what they did is they went out and got another superstar. Giannis wanted that. Now they are a contender. If what's-his-face, Chris Middleton gets healthy and can stay healthy, they're going to be tough to beat. 76ers, to me, they will not stay healthy. James is not what he used to be. It's interesting how that's going to play out. Obviously, there's a lot of tension there. I do like Nick Nurse, their new coach to the 76ers. I actually played for him in Toronto. Very good coach. But Drew Holiday going to the Celtics, don't overlook that. Drew Holiday is a veteran player, plays both ends of the court, a lot of experience. He's definitely going to help the Celtics. The Porzingis addition to the Celtics is going to be a trade. He's one of those guys that has to stay healthy. He's lost his confidence a little bit. I was in the league when he first came around. I thought he was going to be really good. Yeah, and he's good, but he's not. I don't know if he's the guy that you say, all right, we can win a championship with him. Right. He'll get you in the playoffs. If he develops and stays healthy, I'm going to be interested to see what happens there too.
Yeah, I definitely think Drew Holiday is a bigger difference maker on that roster than Porzingis. I think Porzingis is I think for the first time he's in a place where he's not necessarily expected to become like a star, right? And you got Tatum, you got Brown is right on him. Then you got Porzingis, who is just a very unique player given his size and his ability. And Drew Holiday is probably one of the more underrated guys in a long, long time in the NBA. That guy's good.
Absolutely.
And to put him on a contender, and it kind of sucks because he was again, I keep going back to McAfee because that's where I can get all these stories from. But he was talking about it. How the day before the trade happened, Drew Holiday comes out and got a counter to the Giannis narrative. And I think Giannis is right. In fairness to Giannis, it wasn't like a demand. It was basically, and it's think about it. Some people get pissed about this and this whole loyalty argument. It's they ask him and he says, hey, I'll evaluate that. And then, of course, the media runs with that because he's not saying, yep, I'm staying, right? It's why would you say that? You only have so much leverage and so much time. I mean, leave the door open. Put some pressure on your employer to like build a better environment, and to keep working, right, and not take it for granted. So, with Drew Holiday, that's the part that's got it. That's probably shitty about the business. Is I bet Giannis loves Drew Holiday. Yep. Everybody in Milwaukee loves the guy. He loves the place so much that he's like, yeah, dude, I love it here. I'm staying. Mm-hmm. And then boom, next day you're going to Portland. And good on them, because that's the other thing that I think happens some in the NBA that maybe doesn't happen in a lot of other leagues is trades with respected veteran players that aren't like adversarial. Yeah. They very frequently end up like this one did, where it's like, hey man, we're going to get you somewhere with the understanding that they're going to get you somewhere where you can win. Yeah. And so, obviously, although, dude, like you look at Portland's roster, might not be deep. They're very young. Like all their guys got to really pan out. But you got Simons, you got Scoot, you got Jeremy Grant, you got there's one other one they got there. Oh, Shaedon Sharp. Right, they got some players up there. And then you figure like, oh, you got Drew Holiday too, who's not like old. Like, I mean, dude, they might make a run in the playoffs, right?
I think they get
in. Look, man, you could get the play in, and then all you got to do is win 2 games, right? So, just saying, like, I don't think Drew Holiday would have necessarily been like, I mean, it ain't like they shipped him somewhere terrible, but then they turned around and they moved him somewhere he wanted to be, and I think Portland just continued its move to solidify itself for long term. Good moves for everybody. It's like one of those situations where I think everybody won. So it is weird to me though that like you got somebody like Dame. That's an interesting narrative, and it makes you wonder down the line, right? Like how good can Portland ever possibly be if the ownership takes someone that is like insanely loyal to a market that loves him and he loves them back, and then you basically look him in the face and just like flip him the bird. That's weird.
Well, I think Portland at some point you've got to look at and be realistic the direction of the franchise. And to me, Portland had hit a point with Damian. I think they've maxed them out. And if you look at the contract, I mean, he's going to be making so his contract goes like to 2026 and 2027. In that year, he'll make $63.2 million. And how could you justify having a guy on your team that's making that amount of money and not even being a contender?
Yeah.
And that, to me, is kind of the push, and that was like a big relief for Portland. That actually solidified the direction that they went ahead with their franchise. They're getting young guys. They got a good pick in Scoot Henderson. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But, Portland is in a rebuild. They have a lot of good young pieces, and Portland is a great franchise, and it's one of the best places to play in the NBA. Fan base is amazing.
Yep. It'd be interesting. Camp starts Tuesday. Media days for all these teams is today, as you're listening, Monday. And biggest news in the history maybe of the NBA. Draymond Green sprained his ankle. Out 4 to 6 weeks. You know what that means, buddy. Old JK's time. Kuminga is just look, man, he's weathered a lot of storms. He's still on the roster. Jordan Poole's gone. I was so worried. I was texting Tyler, like, hey man, are they allowed to trade Chris Paul? Because the only way it would have worked to bring Drew Holiday in was Chris Paul would have been part of that deal. I felt like Drew Holiday was a pretty tight fit in what they're trying to do. Like they can't play defense to save their lives. Like all of a sudden you had a guy that can. I mean, Draymond's a good defender. He's just getting old. You got Wiggins, a pretty decent defender. Like I don't think you get that deal done without Kuminga. That's the whole reason why a lot of the deals over the summer didn't get done, like Anunoby and some of these other guys. They could have sent Chris Paul and maybe Moses Moody and all their draft capital, which I don't think they were wanting to do. But, the timetable, first game is October 24th, I think. And, there's some conversations about who will start and who won't. I don't really think it matters. But old Sleek Dog, buddy, I'm ready to see Kuminga get about a couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks, about 25, 30 minutes a night. And I'm going to find out find out whether I'm right or wrong about this kid. But, man, they say he's been working all summer.
Well, let me tell you, Draymond's a smart vet. Smart move. Get hurt right before training camp. Then you get healthy a week or two before the season. Okay, now you don't have to go through 2-a-days and you're not just destroying your body. I can tell you training camp is a beast. You better come in shape. But Kuminga, this is a big year for Kuminga. And I believe in Kuminga just like you do. I think he's athletic, young. And this will be a good opportunity for him preseason, for him to do his thing and get a little confidence from the coaching staff.
Yeah, apparently Draymond stepped on his foot in a scrimmage, on Kuminga's foot. So maybe Kuminga had a little trick up his sleeve. But anyway, man, NBA's about to start. I know a lot of, I say this all the damn time. Maybe people do like the NBA. But, God, the NBA is good. They got the in-season tournament this year, too. Oh, yeah. Right? So,
right.
All-Star games in Indy. Mm-hmm. Next year it's in Chase Center. And I think I'm going to try to get out to a game this year. I'm going to try to find so this is the last thing I'll say, and we'll get out of here. So I put on my calendar, I was like looking on my calendar, like I'll go watch the Warriors usually come to Charlotte once a year. And I was like, I'll go to that game. We'll go ahead and make a plan. I'm going to go to that game. And as fate would have it, that game is the day after the due date of my firstborn child. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, of all the times that I decide I'm going to go, make the plan, right? Yeah. Boom. No, you're not. You are not going to that game, period. So it looks like I'm going to have to pick a different one. And but, Atlanta sucks. So it's like, Charlotte's just close, right? I'm going to watch a shitty team just go close. But Atlanta sucks. Wizards suck. So, man, I might just fly out there for the opener.
Yeah, fly out to the day.
I know. So real cheap there. Nice and safe to walk up and down the sidewalks out there. Anyway, man, guys, thanks for sticking with us. Go get you a T-shirt. Go get you some crab cakes while you're at it. They'll ship them straight to your house. Jimmy's. Shout out. We probably ought to shoot Jimmy a T-shirt.
Absolutely.
All he's done for us, we didn't give him a damn T-shirt.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, 17-0 Chiefs. You got anything else, Big Alt?
Stay safe.
Stay safe.